What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 361 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with LJ Lowry.
Yo.
And Shelly Nolan.
Hello.
61. 365 is coming up soon.
Whole year,
episode
baby.
Every day for a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
It blows my mind.
It's crazy.
This week, we're geeking out about workers' rights, Miyazaki's latest last film, and some kaiju-sized TV trailers. Because they're about kaijus, if you're wondering. Before we do that, we'll get into the games that we've been playing. First off, me and LJ playing fantasy football, which I think of as a video game. Augmented reality is what I think of it as.
Yeah. It's like D&D, but with real people, with like the lives of real people.
Yeah.
Which sounds a lot darker than it is.
Yeah. I'm doing poorly this season. It's gonna be a bad season.
It's week one.
Yeah.
Week one is rough all around, dude. Like, it's just, there's so many, like, predictions that have gone out the window. So.
Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. And you can always, I just wasn't as prepared this year. Last year I looked at some rookies that I thought would be promising, and for whatever, so we do 2 minutes. For those who don't know a whole lot about fantasy football, you get like 2 minutes to check. Mm-hmm. And that seems like a lot of time, but when you're trying to pick your players, for whatever reason, it feels very rushed. Those 2 minutes just kind of go crazy. Yeah, my first pick was someone who's in injured reserve. So,
yeah.
Not my best choice. I was like, Cooper Kupp, I know that name. I love that guy. And I didn't actually look at any of his reports. I knew he was injured last year.
Yep.
And then LJ, you have my quarterback, who will take very good care of you, I'm sure.
And he's playing right now on Monday Night Football, so...
Yeah, I'm sure he's killing it. Josh Allen, I had him the last 3 years. So I'm kicking myself for not having him, but you enjoy that, LJ.
Yeah.
You're my first pick next year.
That's okay. The quarterback I got in my other league totally just bombed out completely, and he's like one of the top, so that's fantasy football for you. That's like... Yeah. Literally, your player's doing bad is like rolling a crit fail.
Yeah.
And, that's just the best way I can describe it.
It's the luck of the roll. You never know.
You just never know how a game is going to go in real life, and therefore it affects your points. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we probably should have opened it up, and we could talk about maybe doing that next year.
To the community or something? To
the whole community. But right now we play with our volunteers, and it's a lot of fun. But it doesn't seem to be as many people as engaged this year as there was last year, so maybe open it up to all of you.
The other league I'm in is a Facebook community, and there's 20 people in the league, so drafting was rough, because at some point it becomes slim pickings. So
yeah, no kidding.
It ends up becoming a lot.
Anyway.
That football season has begun. You don't hear us talk a lot about football on the podcast, but we nerd out about that too. You nerd out, you geek out about everything.
Yes.
LJ, what else have you been playing?
I have been playing easily one of the biggest games of the year, and that's Starfield. We actually got a review copy last minute, and so that was kind of exciting.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
I know Joe.
What do you think of Space Skyrim?
It's good. It's very Space Skyrim in more ways than one.
You literally start out in a cart. I thought that was so funny.
There's no way. I mean, really?
Technically, yeah.
In a way. Like you're not you're not like a buggy cart.
No.
You're in an elevator cart.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But it's a cart.
That's a stretch, 100%. But sure. Yeah. So no, it's good. What blows my mind is there's a particular mission that I did, a story mission, because you can spend hours on this game and not even advance the story. There's a particular mission where big stuff happens, real big stuff happens, and I got the sound, Xbox does this thing where it does this little sound and animation for, like, rare achievements, and I got that little sound on a particular mission where big stuff happens, and I'm just like, wow, like, this is actually a part that nobody talks about, and it is very Skyrim. Let's just say you're a dragon, you basically are a space dragonborn. Like, that's just your...
Okay.
And that, it's so good. You can... there's tons of side quests. The story's great so far. One of my favorite small moments I had happen was when I went to travel to this planet. I got hailed by this this like father and daughter team, like, and they're like, and this little girl's like, hey, like, you want to buy some lemonade? And she's like, you can either give me 5 credits or 500 credits. And I'm like, okay, usually in a game, if you know, that means I'm probably going to get robbed, right? And so in this case, I'm like, all right, well, you know, I'll give you 5 credits, whatever, because I still didn't trust them. And then so I send him 5 credits, and the little girl's like, see, Daddy, I did it, and all this stuff. And he goes, and the dad goes like, well, he goes, you know, it's not actual lemonade. It's not, you know, it's not even lemon and sugar. It's just a box of, you know, it's just a juice box of, you know, it's orange juice. It's not even lemonade. Mm-hmm. And so you're like, oh, okay, you know, and you tell them like, oh, be safe, you know, like it's dangerous out here. And I literally just had this little juice box in my inventory, like. And I'm just like, okay, like, that surprises me. Like, that was kind of sweet, because usually in games like that, if you encounter random people asking you for money, if you don't give it to them, they're going to rob you, right? So I don't know what could have happened. I could have said, hey, I'll give you 500, and they could have been like, oh, well, give us everything you got then. You know, like, I still have no idea.
We were like, here's the real lemonade.
But, yeah, like, so, I mean, I don't know. The 500 credits could have been real lemonade, but... It was just like, I was like, wow, that is so wholesome. Like, I was talking to my buddy, like, because the first night we were just got on like party chat and just talked while we were playing, and I was like, dude, like, I didn't get robbed. I'm like, I'm amazed right now. So it's a real fun game. I've just approached quests in a very different way. Like, there's just a lot. There's a
huge Halo Easter egg. I don't know if I should give that away, but
I don't know what that. I don't know what that would be, to be honest.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it was an article, so it probably isn't huge spoilers, but I would have preferred to find it on my own, I think.
Yeah. There's some real cool side quests too. There's some real cool main quests. You can talk your way out of a lot, and you can shoot your way out of a lot, and I mean, that's how those games usually go. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much more else that I can say. Like, I mean, I don't. I like how choosing your background and choosing all these extra little traits kind of affects dialogue trees and stuff, and affects certain bonuses you get and things like that. Yeah, I'd say if you have the chance, play it for yourself. I will say, there's the caveat, is people were very upset that, oh, you can't actually, like, you travel to these planets at free will. It's not like a No Man's Sky or something like that. You are basically traveling to spaces, is a series of glorified fish bowls, and so are these planets and cities you land on. But I'm like, that's okay. You know, there are limitations. It is a Bethesda game. Like, you can't expect it to be the seamless transition.
Right.
Like, what they have crafted is really amazing. Like, sure, like, once you get past the idea of spending some time in those menus and having to travel and jump places like that, like, when I'm in the world, I'm immersed in the world. And so I think
it's not auto-generated, right? I mean, this is all
some of the random, like, some of the more random spots you can land are, like, do generate different seeds, you know, like, whenever you do the actual surveying stuff. But most of it is like, most of that stuff is like, okay, whatever. Like, that's just, you know, it's mostly like land full of resources and all that. But no, so it isn't this big grandiose thing necessarily, but there's still so much to do in it. There's so much quests. It's pretty big. It still is big, but in its own way. I think there's only so much you can do, especially in that particular engine, but it is easily one of the most polished games that Bethesda has ever put out, so it's good. I'm enjoying it.
Awesome. So cool.
Yep. And then
I've downloaded it. Okay. I have not built a character yet.
That'll take so much time, I bet.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, that'll be my whole day.
The other thing I want to give a quick shout out to is something I grabbed on Switch just because I wanted to see what it was like. So Digital Eclipse, they do a lot of ports and stuff, but there's an old PC game called Karateka, and it's from the guy who created the original Prince of Persia game.
Ooh.
And it's this interactive documentary, and so you get to play these versions, which Karateka was an old martial arts themed game that started on like the Apple II, but they have like a new remastered version they put on like this digital documentary thing, this like interactive documentary. You can also go back and play one of his even older games before, you know, he made that, but it's real awesome. They have some video documentaries because he did a lot of the development with his dad and stuff like that. His dad did the music for it. They have these slides that kind of explain how he did the animation for it. Because at the time there wasn't really like he got his start making like asteroids clones, and the documentary also talks about how he used rotoscoping because he knew that's how they did it in old Disney movies.
Totally.
And so you get to see how like from the sketches to his dad actually doing some of like the movements for like the character and all that, and how like he converted that into sprites back in the day. And how like an old martial arts master of his and his family did like some of like their moves for it. It's really fascinating because like these old PC games and stuff like that, these old computer games are even beyond my history. So for like $20, I actually got this on Switch, but it's on like everything. It's like a super interactive documentary for a really old game, but I found it fascinating, and I was like, oh, like this is really neat. It's a real good.
It's really cool.
Like video game preservation kind of thing because there's not a lot, like, and the people who remastered it went off of the original code and made it in a way that like wasn't going to like sacrifice or at least remove like the way that he originally had to make it and stuff like that. So it's like everything stayed true to the remaster of it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a really, really old game, but yeah, no, it was just fun. Something fun I got for $20 to like cleanse my palate from Starfield. So that's been fun. So yeah, well, very educational. So yeah, that's it.
What have you been playing, Shelly?
Quite a bit, but I also will be talking about PAX, and I realize I probably should. I'm gonna save the games I played at PAX for when I talk about PAX, kind of like near the end.
Okay.
And sort of like other sections. So I did play games at PAX, but I won't be talking about that yet. I'll just talk about games I'm playing otherwise. So although it is there's a little bit of connection there. I've been playing a lot of Rivals of Aether. And most of it was because, we have a friend who's super into Rivals of Aether, and he was really excited to play Rivals 2, which was going to be at PAX.
Oh, nice.
Super beta, like super duper not ready to come out yet. I think it's going to be coming out sometime next year. So, but we were all looking forward to playing it. And I've played Rivals a couple times. I've actually owned it for a long time. I think I got the game when it was still in early access, which is really funny. Because I was like, oh, this looks like a fun Smash clone kind of thing. And like, I didn't really know what it was. And then I was really bad at it, and I never really played it again.
That's kind of what happened
but
with me. I was super terrible at it.
Yeah, and then playing Rivals 2 at PAX, though, was like really fun, actually. And I feel like it was starting to click in my brain a little bit. And so my husband and I we're both having a really good time with it. So we've been playing Rivals of Aether a lot. And I've sort of been out of the competitive Smash scene for quite a while now. But I think it'd be fun to go back to tournaments with Rivals instead. It's a much smaller community, and I'm way worse at the game, which I wasn't very good at Smash anyway. But it's fine. It's just because it's a harder game in general, I think, in my opinion. But really cool, super fast. But my hands kind of hurt and cramp up when I play for too long. My eyes kind of hurt because there's just no break, there's no breathing. You just kind of you just go. So it's really fun. The other thing we've been playing too is Baldur's Gate 3. We've got it on PS5 when it came out.
Curious to know your thoughts about that.
And it's my experience. Like, it's really my opinion of the game has changed so much as we keep playing, in a good way. Like, the more we play, the more fun it is. And I think it's just took us a little bit of a while to deal with some of the jank that comes with the game. There's just a lot of for lack of a better term, there's just a lot of things that happen in the game that they don't explain well, or they try to explain, or they over-explain. It's really weird how, we still get weird tutorial pop-ups when we don't need them, but then there's still some mechanics of the game they don't explain very well. And it does suffer from BioWare syndrome, where it, in conversations, people will say things and infer something, or you will say something and infer something that's unclear. So you kind of have to be careful. But what's nice about this game is that it's usually pretty easy to quick save and just save and reload. Mm-hmm. So it's really not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we were having a pretty rough go at it at the beginning. Again, just because we're so D&D brained that there's a lot of things that apply, from D&D into Baldur's Gate 3. In fact, most things, many, many things do, but there are some things that just don't quite work the same. And also we were just getting frustrated because we just had, honestly, really bad luck. So far, we've had really bad luck in the game. Like, I'm talking missing constantly on 80s and 90% to hit. I'm talking we thought there was a bug and that it was impossible to roll a successful death save throw. Apparently it is possible. We found out that that it is possible in our game. We just haven't ever seen it in an actual battle where things matter. Like, people just are only ever rolling fails constantly. So, just things like that. There's also just, like, so much to explore it's kind of overwhelming. And it's like, we're always going to miss something. But I'll be, like, talking with my friends or whatever. They're just like, oh, but did you see this? And I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Like, we're just kind of playing the game. And it definitely, again, is getting more and more fun as we're playing more and more. And, like, as we're leveling up, too, you just can't really do much the first couple levels. But I'm really excited about my build. I'm a Dragonborn Ranger. Nice. They changed Rangers a bit in this game. So they're, instead of, like, picking a favored enemy, you kind of essentially pick another background almost, but it gives you, like, certain benefits. So, I chose, like, a knight background kind of thing that gives me proficiency with heavy armor. And then there's also another option where you can, potentially get a resistance. So I'm a black dragonborn, so I'm resistant to acid. Mm-hmm. I chose fire resistance. In a future level, I will be able to get cold resistance as well. And I have heavy armor. So I am a tank ranger. I am just a tank ranger because I thought that'd be really funny. And rangers are just so bad in 5e. So I just was like, I'm just going to play a tank ranger because... And I'm a beastmaster as well. So I summon a raven, which is very fun. I'm having a lot of fun with that. And then my husband, he's a sorcerer, which is also great because he does all the talking. And you really do need to have good charisma in this game. Like, having good charisma in this game is really important, and also having good strength is really important, so it's great because I'm a strength build and he's a charisma build, so it's kind of, like, perfect in that way.
That works out, yeah.
I'm finally liking the companions a lot. It took me a long time to get to like them, though. I still don't like Lae'zel. I still hate her. But finally, at this point, I do like them. It just, it took me longer than I would have thought for them to grow on me, but they did. So that's good.
Nice.
I think we just keep comparing to Dragon Age in such a way that if Dragon Age 4 either never comes out or is really bad, which is probably going to be one of the two, if we're being honest, because of the way BioWare is right now. If we want to play something that's gives us the same energy, something like Dragon Age 4 would, then we're just going to play this game again. And this game, it's funny because there's so much ridiculous jank that happens, especially because we're playing local co-op. But I also don't think I'd be having fun with this game single player. I think for me, like, controlling an entire party is just way too much for someone like me. I need, like, controlling one is enough. Controlling two is fine. I can handle that. But, like, controlling one, that is way too much for me. So, but there's just incredible frame rate drops. Like, anytime we do almost anything, anytime we switch characters, almost anytime.
Screen, there's issues.
Yeah, almost anytime we're casting a spell, just very, very often. Terrible frame rate drops. And we're used to it at this point, but it just kind of sucks that there's such abysmal frame rate drops very, very often, especially in combat. Also, going around the map is just awful. There's a lot of things I don't like about the game, if I'm being honest, but again, it is getting more fun. I do genuinely enjoy it. Yeah. It's just not like my game either or anything, right? Like, I was talking with, I was talking in the Backlog golf chat, and I mentioned that I crashed the game just by doing regular things, right? We just are, again, we're just playing local co-op, and we're both just doing something in combat because you can, but the game just, it couldn't take it. It just crashed. And thankfully, when we opened it up, it went back to right where we were, so we didn't lose any progress, which was like, oh, thank goodness. But, I think it was Derek pointing out. He's like, yeah, that doesn't sound like Game of the Year. Something like that crashing, like, that's unacceptable. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good point. Like, this probably wasn't going to be my Game of the Year. But, yeah. It's just a little bit unfortunate.
I mean, it's a good point. Nobody's talking about that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess...
No one is.
Most people play it on PC, but, like, still, like...
Yeah.
Exactly, and I don't think it's a problem there.
Like, storytelling details that they've given it. Usually when I hear about it. Like, all the different things that you can get responses for.
Which, like, that's all very cool and well and good, and I do love that, but it's true that what I do see is mostly the glaring issues.
You'll hear
more so
games
than
that
how amazing
you'll
it
hear
is.
games get roasted for being a 5 or a 6 for those kind of issues, and then you won't hear games that are like being overly talked about, and like nobody will talk about those kind of things.
I mean, a full game crash out of nowhere is usually pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. At least we didn't lose progress, but it was pretty out of the blue.
Yeah.
And
progress. I'm so done with the game.
Yeah.
There's a chance I don't go back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So but I'm just grateful that they do have local co-op though. I know that they delayed things just to make sure that was like at least in working order, and like it does still work, even if it's not working well. It does still work to the point where we're still having fun. Besides that, so honestly, you know what? I just realized all these games I'm playing are all like multiplayer co-op kind of games. Rivals is more competitive, but before we got Baldur's Gate 3, we played TMNT Shredder's Revenge through, and actually my husband's played it all the way through by himself, but we played it again because we got the DLC.
I have played that expansion. I totally spaced on that.
It was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I was playing with Usagi. He's my boy. I love that guy. Like I read so many of his comics.
Fun.
And he was awesome. His voice was not his voice. Like, his voice was super bad, but it's fine because it's the 80s version. They're all, like, cheesy anyway. But I didn't even play as Karai. Like, I love Casey Jones. I haven't even played as Casey Jones. I just played Usagi the whole time, and I was kicking butt and taking names, and it was it was genuinely quite fun.
That survival mode is super cool. Like, it starts out rough because you don't have, like, as many, like, power-ups or anything or extra lives. But once you do, like, that survival mode just gets so fun.
Survival mode's very cool, and being able to basically become bosses, like you can take control of the bosses, like be like Shredder and stuff. That was very cool.
The new color palettes are super cool too.
Yeah, so we basically grinded and beat that game right before we got Baldur's Gate 3 because we were just like, we're so close to Baldur's Gate 3, let's just play this game. And so that was very much worth it. Super fun. If you love TMNT, definitely go do it. And if you like Usagi, honestly, get a friend and play it. And get the DLC and play it. Very cool. So those are the games I played. Again, I played some at PAX, but I'll talk about a little bit later.
Cool. I'm continuing to play Super Snail.
Nice.
Don't recommend it.
Well, thank you.
That's
for your sacrifice.
It's addicting. It's a time sink for sure. My only true problem with it, small thing, is that I can't share resources with anyone. And so you can get in clubs and have these I'm playing with a friend and I can't give that friend any of my resources, and I was like, why even have clubs or anything if I can't interact? You basically together fight a specific thing, but
there's no interaction beyond that.
Yeah. There's a chat, I guess, but it's literally you click to fight this thing that's way stronger than you, and you fight it as much as you can, and then someone else is going to do that so else for the day. But fighting consists of just clicking that one thing and then dying. So it's addicting. That's the only thing that I feel like I'm missing. I was like, if I could send resources, there's so many different resources in this game. That would be kind of cool. But and the art style, I'm still really loving the art style. A weird thing, so that I'm trying to think of the company that made Super Snail. They did the Dungeons and Gumballs.
Oh yeah, the one that you played before, yeah.
Yeah, so I really love the art style in this, but I cannot find the artist for the life of me. I can't find any kind of credits. The closest I got was Peter, no last name, is the head developer. And that's from the game, so I don't even know if Peter is a real person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then when you go to the website is in Chinese.
That's weird.
They translate it out. Yeah, and I'm
give credit to your
I don't
artists.
think your name... Maybe his name is Peter, but I just feel like his name's not Peter. But yeah, I would love to get some, artist credits. Credit your people. QV... It's not QVC. I don't remember what they're called.
I was going to say QVC's an offline shop.
It's not QVC.
That sounds like an ad you got.
QC Play. QC Play. I had to look it up now. Other than that, it's fun. And then I've been continuing to play Forbidden West as well.
Nice.
And
cool.
I'm not having as much fun as the first game, but I think part of that was the novelty of the first game. I am definitely like enjoying it still a lot. I'm really into like the hunts and getting things down. I feel like the story just opened up, and I've been spending all my time doing like all of the side quest things.
Nice.
This game more than any other game, I've enjoyed the side quests more than anything else I've played. I think just because I like the hunts, and all of the side quests are about hunting things and breaking them down, and that part of it is super cool to me. The Assassin's Creed stuff is a little weird. You literally can find camps, and then you have to like sneak around and take out the camp of people, basically. Super Assassin's Creed.
Hide in the grass. Hide in the grass.
Yeah.
Take them down from above.
Literally. Find a tall spot. They can't see you, and just shoot your arrows. Take them all out without them knowing. That though, besides that, like I was actually thinking about. I keep comparing it to Zelda, and I think that's because of Breath of the Wild and the first one coming out at the same time. But now I get a glider, so it feels even more like Zelda. Give me a glider, and I'm like, all right. But it almost, to me, given the way the story progresses and the way that you're having to like infiltrate these cauldrons, it's kind of like if Zelda hadn't innovated. Is like would be really similar to this game. I feel like you're going around, and you're fighting these creatures out in this open world, and then you
but
find
you're still
these
hitting the dungeons. Yeah.
Well, you can still innovate, and you can still have dungeons. I think that's the one thing I wish that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom did is like had actual, like they kind of did.
Why not both?
A little bit, but like it's not really the same. I don't know.
It would have been cool if that open world. I actually think Zelda did it best when they did Link Between Worlds.
Oh yeah.
You would get an item, and that item would unlock to whatever dungeon, and you could do whatever you wanted in whatever order, but you still had that kind of item unlocked to do the dungeon algorithm, I guess, formula. But that's what this does. So you unlock an ability, and then you use that ability to get through whatever kind of dungeon you have to get through. The only problem is the dungeons in this obviously aren't nearly as good as a Zelda dungeon. For sure.
There's not many puzzles. It's more like, get through it.
Yeah, it's very corridor, platformy, jump on things. But, I don't know, it's interesting. It almost seems like it's kind of their answer to Zelda in a lot of ways. And strangely, Assassin's Creed, sometimes. But if you like the first one, I feel like you'll like this one. I know it got a lot of hate. I don't necessarily see why, but a lot of times that comes with me playing it way after a game came out. So when the game came out, it wasn't nearly as good. I understand it wasn't like the craziest big game of the year type thing, but it's fun. We can get into the gaming news then. I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, where are we going? What's going on in the gaming world, LJ?
Yeah, so we might see a bit of a turning point here in gaming as well, if things keep going the way they've been going, like with Hollywood. First of all, being that SAG-AFTRA, apparently, I guess last year, they struck up a deal with a contract that includes video game actors, like voice actors, and dealing with companies. And this is straight up from the horse's mouth, too. Like, I got a link right from SAG-AFTRA. And so there was a unanimous vote that video game companies be included in this strike. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of take a look real quick. So yeah, they voted unanimously to send a strike authorization vote to SAG-AFTRA members in preparation of the union's forthcoming bargaining dates with signatory video game companies, which include Activision Productions, Blind Light LLC, which I don't know off the top of my head what that one is, but Disney Character Voices Inc., Electronic Arts Productions Inc., Epic Games Inc., Formosa Interactive, Insomniac Games, Take-Two Productions, VoiceWork Productions Inc., and WB Games Inc. Those are easily, like, aside from, which I'm sure those are companies that are probably, like, agencies for video game voice actors there, too. But right off the bat, those are like AAA studios. Not that I feel like, see, with movies, I know it's been good for the independent scene because there's been a lot of independent films and projects getting more recognition as well. I honestly feel like, at least from my knowledge, the indie scene for video games, I feel like, is a more prominent scene than it is for like movies, because I know movies, it's the big ones dominate the box offices so easy, and those are the ones that get wider distribution. I mean, you get like A24 and stuff like that, but with movies, honestly, like, that's fine. Like, I think really, some of these big video game companies should answer for some of the things that have been going on. Just like, Hollywood is having to answer for some of the stuff that has been going on. So, by all means, I have a backlog that I can happily go through right now. I mean, I still have these really big games that I still have not beaten. I have hundreds of them. I also have a movie backlog, which I have hundreds of movies, so I can go back and watch those too. So, like, I'm all for this. I'm like, sure, like, and it's not only actors. I believe, like, we talk about, like, I think Sega is unionizing, and there's certain other companies that are doing that. So it's like awesome. Like, pay people. Even in my own field of work, I work at a UPS store. There was all this stuff about UPS possibly going on strike, which never happened because they reached a deal. But it's just like, it has me thinking, like, people need to be paid for their work. And if they're not, and if they want to try and get replaced with AI and stuff, like, that ain't cool. Pay the people for what they're worth and for what they're doing. I heard something about even the music industry. Ed Sheeran was dealing with something about the rights to his music over an AI thing, trying to claim rights to, like, that they owned some kind of tune or rhythm or somehow, like.
What the?
Yeah, so one of my cousins was telling me about it. I guess for that, there's like some case that I guess he's fighting with, or was, and I guess it had to do with this program being able to claim the rights to any, like, beat or rhythm, like, because it's AI based, that hasn't even been out yet. Like, so if you've never even thought of a song or a rhythm or a beat to a song, then technically this AI owns the rights to it. And it just trips me out because I think of, like, the whole SAG-AFTRA thing with AI and the actors, and, like, even with video games, like, a lot of video game stuff is already populated with AI that can just do the work, so it's like, I'm all for this, like, people pay the people. So I'm just like, yeah, like,
or we won't have a podcast.
And so honestly, it is making getting news stuff real awkward.
Yeah, we've noticed a difference here on the podcast
with movies, even like Oppenheimer and Barbie finally leaving theaters and stuff, and all these other random movies coming out. I feel like we're already starting to see, like, the effect of it in, like, movie-going experiences. Like, there's random movies, like, that have been coming out that I'm just like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing, or, oh, I barely saw, like, one trailer for that or something.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, we're going to see the effects of that during the holiday, because there's probably not going to be all
I think it's definitely going to slow down. Fortunately, right now, we've had we're talking almost basically just trailers today for movies and TV.
Yeah.
But, like, once those movies are all released, there aren't any more announcements. Like,
oh, yeah. I mean, that does remind me of a few other things.
Talked about announcements in a long time.
Right, and then it sucks because we can't hear some of our favorite content creators talk about a lot of this stuff either. So it's just, like, sucks. Like, but if this happens in the video game world, like, I'm okay with it. Like, let indie stuff.
Yeah, we'll be clear. People need to be.
Let indie stuff
paid.
Get the limelight for a little while, and let people get paid. Yeah. So.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. So that's kind of it. And then the next one I think is kind of a crushing blow a little bit to the idea of E3 being a thing. But ReedPop has already parted ways with the ESA, which ReedPop is the organizers of PAX, which obviously we'll be talking about here pretty soon.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to organize E3 with this past year with the ESA, and that didn't happen. There's already talks of the ESA not even having whatever next year's E3 is at LA and at the LA Convention Center. And supposedly regrouping for 2025. And I'm like, well, we're probably not going to have an E3 next year either, if at all. So I'm convinced that E3 is no longer going to be a thing, which sucks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Seems to
It
be the
just-
wave.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it also seems to be like the obvious move. I think like with COVID, it was just you started getting all these different groups that were making their own events. PlayStation has their own thing, Nintendo has their own thing, and that just kind of like makes sense in our age.
yeah.
So it's almost kind of like it's an end of an era that we all really liked and enjoyed and appreciated. So
There's a thing that I think the ESA says about like, oh, E3 still has like a strong place in video game history or video game presence today, and I'm just like, no.
In
like,
history,
yes,
definitely.
Yes.
Currently,
I
that's
want to
another
look for
story.
this exact quote, but
think of the past.
it's just like, yeah, like we still have our place in the gaming industry. It's like, yeah, no, you don't.
I've said this before too, because a big argument to that would be like, well, you got hands-on games at that point, and we could get. I mean, they could bring demos back.
Yeah.
And so that kind of argument, you can get someone to play a game that hasn't come out yet as like a demo code or whatever.
So
there's definitely ways around making everything that happens at E3 very expensively happen in your home for free or even for a price if they decided to. I think.
here's
Pay-per-view
the
situation.
exact quote. While the reach of E3 remains unmatched in our industry.
Whoa.
That ain't it, Chief. Like, y'all have been gone for how long? Like, yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, but, yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like, I just feel like
It's over.
I feel like the nail has been
It's so
like
over.
in like being driven into the coffin for the last couple of years, but I feel like this might be the final blow. I think it would have been cool to like for a bunch of us to go like and represent Geeks Under Grace at an E3. I'll still say that. Like
Yeah,
that is
definitely.
the one thing that I always thought would have been like amazing is if we had got to go to an actual
Really cool.
E3.
There's always the video game awards.
Yeah.
Not this year. We're not announcing anything. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
Uh,
Something like that though. Like
it would be cool.
imagine going to Germany to opening night live. Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy. That's like E3 number 2 at least in my opinion. So anyway, but yeah, it's just
It
kinda
is weird
wild.
that there's a German one, and then there isn't anything like that in the United States as far as announcements go.
Yeah.
But-
Yep.
I don't know.
That's it for gaming news.
Cool. We'll get into the movies then. Go ahead, Shelley. Start with you.
Yeah, it's been a while, so I don't remember. Maybe I've already talked about this, but we watched a movie called Moonfall. Maybe I did already talk about this, or maybe I just talked with other people about it. But it's
I don't remember you talking about it.
it's on yeah.
Roll with it.
It's on Max.
It is on Max, and it's very silly. It's just a very silly movie. It's pretty fun, but very silly. And now I barely even remember the movie. I feel like that is one of those. It's one of those movies.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah. It's like the moon is falling. It's called Moonfall.
Oh, I think
Moon's
is it like this is like one of
falling.
those disaster movies?
It is a disaster movie, yes. It's like
Okay, I think I
apocalypse movie.
remember the trailer for it.
But it's like, it came out in 2022, and I only heard about it when we watched it, because some friends recommended it, and it was fine.
Okay, I have heard of this movie, but it was like in passing. I looked at it, yes.
I don't know, I guess if you like kind of cheesy disaster movies, I'd recommend it, but if
Almost
you
like a
like
2012 or something like that.
yeah. There were also just some, like,
The Day After Tomorrow.
really...
Yeah.
It already felt outdated. It's from 2022, but they kept making, like, jokes about how awesome Elon Musk was. And I'm just like, it's only been a year, honey. How are you already outdated? Like, that's awful.
Yep.
It's like, it almost, the fact that he was name dropped so many times almost made me think he maybe sponsored the movie in some kind of way, but I can't prove, I don't know.
SpaceX helped make the movie.
But yeah, it was like very conspiracy, lots of conspiracy theories, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like the crazy conspiracies were right, and the moon is like it was basically. It reminded me of that Doctor Who episode where the moon's an egg, which is like one of the episodes. Yeah, see my husband shaking his head in the background. He knows. He even knows how bad it was. That was definitely the beginning of the end of watching Doctor Who for me. It was so bad. That episode was just rough. And anyone who knows, right? When I say the moon's an egg, you know what I'm talking about. Those you Doctor Who fans who know. It's rough. So it was like that, but there were some fun parts. Whereas that episode did not have many fun parts, in my opinion. That movie had some fun parts. And the CGI looked really good, which was nice. So, yeah, if you just need like a weird popcorn movie and you like to watch kind of disaster movies, apocalyptic movies, sorry, I can't speak. Yeah, then I recommend it. It's very much a popcorn movie. But besides that, well, that's what I watched.
Nice.
What about you, LJ?
I rewatched TMNT again this weekend because it came on demand.
Okay. Like the
new one.
The new one. Oh, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, no, it's like you still have to like rent it for like $20, I think, because it's like
Sure.
Oh wow, okay.
early,
That's so cool.
early release technically. But I got it again because like I was gonna get it eventually. I have a pre-ordered 4K Steelbook on Amazon that I was gonna wait for, but then I found out we're watching my nephew on Mondays because I guess for whatever reason his school is not doing Mondays now. I guess, which is really weird. So I was like, whatever, like, I'm gonna watch football, so let me distract him with something, and so I bought the movie. Then he's already watched it about 3 times yesterday and watched it again this morning, so I watched it with him this morning before going to work. And it's one of those movies that I enjoyed seeing in theaters, but again, like, I watch it on a TV, and I'm like, oh, wow, feels so much more crispy and so much more, like, I feel like I can just enjoy it a lot more for some reason. Like, I go to a theater for the experience now, but just when I finally get to watch a movie on my screen or on our living room screen, I'm just like, ooh, I feel like I really get to see it and take it in now, like, so it was good to rewatch it. But that's about it.
I watched The Flash.
No, how would it go?
Man, I'm so glad I didn't buy tickets in theaters.
Oh my gosh.
It's amazing. It's so bad. I can't believe that it was released. Legitimately. And this is coming from somebody who is pretty non-critical about movies. I will say I had a really good time. I was laughing the entire time, whether it be because the CGI was so bad or because it legitimately had like funny moments. But he's got to do this pose like to run every time. He like the inconsistency with the character, so he's like really goofy and awkward, like he has been in the last few movies until he meets himself, and then that one's goofy, weird, and awkward, and so he's totally fine now. He literally just has he's like, "You're annoying," and then is totally like just normal. But the CGI is like Sharknado bad. There are certain moments that literally look like they came from like a PS3 game.
The one that got me was like whenever he like figures out like how he can like travel through time with the whole Speed Force thing. That stuff was really bad to me. Like whenever he was like looking, like just looking around, and I'm like, what is that? Like, how do you interpret it that way? Like, I'm just like, it was so bad. That's the part that lost me, I think. That's why I didn't finish it.
Like, bye-bye.
Yeah. It was like really bad.
It's so garbage. I love it. It's like it's so ugly, it's cute kind of thing.
It's so ugly, it's cute.
I told my nephew this morning.
Oh no!
Max. I said, "Don't watch that." I literally, I'm like, "Don't watch that. Go back and watch Ninja Turtles again for a 10th time."
Go watch a good movie.
Yes.
The only thing, and I'm legitimately bummed about this, 'cause everything else I had already discarded. Like as soon as it started, as soon as he started like throwing babies in microwaves.
Yes.
True story. I was over this.
Yes.
I was like, this movie's not gonna be a good movie.
Yes.
But Michael Shannon returns, and I was kind of excited for that. And I think it would have been hilarious if he would have acted his heart out in this really bad movie. But he didn't. He definitely like showed up and got a paycheck and went home. It's almost as if he read the lines real quick and then said them, and they just like shot real quick instead of him actually like embodying this character. And Michael Shannon is such a good actor normally. I've never seen someone care so little about their role in a superhero movie. Yeah, Keaton as Batman is fun. That's it. I don't know.
It just made me sad. Like, what could have been? You know, like this could have been. It could have been so much better. Like,
yeah, I have to wonder if it was done on purpose. If it was sabotage, similarly to that X-Men movie that came out.
Oh yeah, like Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix, yeah.
Which I never
was
saw.
Legitimately. Marvel had like they're reportedly, Marvel had made that movie not get finished correctly because they wanted to do poorly because they were doing something similar, and they were buying X-Men, so they didn't want to like overvalue X-Men. There was a whole thing with that with Fox. So James Gunn taking over, that's all alleged, but I have to wonder if James Gunn was like, yeah, your budget for CGI is non-existent, so that my movies will look good in comparison,
bro.
Because you wouldn't want this movie to do well, and everyone goes, "See, Snyder movies, when given a chance, are amazing," and then everyone, wanting Snyder over James Gunn, because this movie definitely makes you go, "Man, I can't wait for James Gunn movies."
Yeah.
It's such a sad send-off to the Snyderverse. And we still have Aquaman 2, possibly, to look forward to, which would be the Snyderverse, technically, I think. Everything's so convoluted. But this was...
I'm happy Blue Beetle was good. I'm happy we got a dub there.
Yeah, and I like to think that that's in James Gunn's universe. He says it is. I'm good with that. This could have been a nice send-off. A handing of the baton, and it's not. It's so bad. So, yeah, I can't imagine Batgirl was worse than this. You brought that up earlier, LJ.
Yeah,
they canceled Batgirl.
Like, was it really? Like, that's what I want to know.
Yeah,
they canceled Batgirl for this.
Right. Like, if honestly,
and
like,
Keaton was the Batman in that as well, so that would have been.
It makes me feel like we're in the darkest timeline. Like.
Yeah,
because
I think you're right.
We could have got Batgirl instead of this. Like, it just
the fact that Blue Beetle was going to be a HBO movie, and this was a theatrical release, blows my mind.
Yes,
because Blue Beetle is so.
They should have cut their losses with Ezra Miller and this Flash movie.
Yeah,
I've
been on this. I've been on this train of thought for a long time, but they're announced an Infinite Earths animated movie, and it's not tied into the DCU now. They took that title away from it.
Oh yeah.
But I almost wish that they would, and they would give proper send-offs to everybody in an animated form, because then
literally just do the thing they do with Apocalypse War somehow.
Yeah, they could reset everything. You could send off your favorites. Which would be so much nicer to Henry Cavill than what they do to him in The Flash. And I mean, you could have like a proper send off, and it's animated, so people can't argue, "Oh, see, Snyderverse is good when you give it a chance," kind of thing. Which I do see that mindset if this movie would have been a good movie. You're like, "Oh, it's animated, and it was just a nice send off for everybody." And Henry Cavill doesn't even technically have to be there. It'd be a slap in the face to James Gunn to not. Be there, I guess, but I think that would be really cool, and that movie's still in production, so they still have a chance to do that. But I think that would be the best way to do it, and then reset it into James Gunn's universe, and then we can see what happens from there if DCU actually has a fighting chance, because any other movies like this one, it does not.
Yeah,
it'll turn into Sci-Fi Channel movies. Yeah. I would say watch Sharknado. And if you enjoyed Sharknado, watch the Flash movie.
Oh my gosh. What a burn.
It was the baby thing, too, that made me go, oh. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a chance, but
Now we know. Now we know.
Oh man. Yeah. Whole thing. Everything's so cheesy. Batman's fighting in the day. It makes no sense. They chime on it. They do say something about it, but it's like you still didn't explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we can move on.
Okay.
What's going on with the movie news?
Yeah.
Shelley?
We don't have much for movie news. We do have a teaser for Aquaman 2. I mean, it is a teaser. Like, it's quite short. I'm gonna be honest, gang. It looks like Aquaman 1. I didn't watch Aquaman 1, so maybe you guys have better judgments on it.
it's been
No,
a
it
while.
looks like Aquaman 1.
I think I only saw Aquaman 1 in theaters, and I don't think I've ever seen it again. To be honest.
Yeah. I never watched it because it
I
looked...
don't remember Aquaman very
Ooh,
well.
I might have done
It didn't
the
look
Bible
great,
study.
and then what was crazy is my sister watched it,
Oh.
and she's like, that was the worst superhero movie I've ever seen. And I'm like,
Well, that's coming
you don't
from, like,
watch
a
a lot of
casual-
superhero movies, but like, that's still something. I was like,
I'm gonna look.
Yeah,
I
well,
think I might
I
have
was
done
just
our
like-
Bible study for the original Aquaman.
yeah,
I'm gonna go look.
there you go.
Let's
But yeah, I
I really
can't
don't
say
have
I
much to
care.
say about it. Yeah, I'm ready for James Gunn's universe, and I'm tired of anything coming out. Like, why release these movies? They should have just. I understand there's a lot of money involved, but put them all on Max, and then just let them die.
Mhm.
And they were also like controversial.
Let them die.
Like we had,
Ugh.
like, they got the whole Amber Heard controversy with this one.
That.
Tom Miller with the last one.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I forgot about that. You're right. They just have the worst actors. Not like worse as in they're bad. They're good actors, I'll say. But I just mean in the sense of controversy and
Publicity.
I too have done a
Yeah.
Bible study on a bad movie apparently because I did the one on Aquaman.
well, rip.
I was throwing a jab at Valerian about Cody's Valerian,
Valerian is
but
yeah.
it's okay. I did the one for the Hellboy for that newer Hellboy movie too, though, so that's 2 for me.
Valerian is better than the Flash.
What?
I didn't finish Valerian either, and I would honestly say yes, it's probably better than the Flash.
Valerian's better than the Flash. I enjoyed watching the Flash more.
Wait, what?
We gotta stop
Because-
this. We can't just compare everything to the Flash because this is
Because
It's
the Flash
too
is
much.
so bad that I enjoyed it.
Wow.
I get that. I get it.
Valerian's just meh. Valerian was pretty.
Flash was not.
Yeah, special effects in the Valerian were really good.
Yeah, Rip Valerian, man. Remember that? Remember when there was hope? I remember that.
So Valerian has
The hype for Valerian was the same hype as there was for Dune.
Yeah.
And
Dune is still a
it
really
came
good
out.
movie.
Yeah. I
Dune
still need to
succeeded.
watch Dune.
Valerian didn't. We were like, this is the movie that like Star Wars is based off of.
Rip. Yeah. That was an era. I do remember that now. Anyway,
Okay.
now for an actually probably good movie that we're all interested in. At least I'm very interested
Yeah,
in.
I'm interested.
That's Miyazaki movie, The Boy and His Heron. We got a trailer for it. And I don't know, it might already be out in Japan. I don't quite remember. But it's eventually going to come to the States because they always do. And you know I'm about to see it. You know I am. I think it's not obviously a literal biopic or like, it's not literally about his life. But it's like, from what I've read, it's like very inspired by his life and like his life story. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I heard. Which I think is super cool. But obviously you still see like there's like some sort of fantastical world or fantastic things happening. Oh, the animation looks so good. Remember when, I guess it was his son. It wasn't him, but like, what the Earwig movie?
Oh yeah, I watched it.
But like that 3D animation was not the move. Like,
No.
I'm glad they're back to the classic 2D, gorgeous.
It looks really nice.
It looks really nice. I've heard it's pretty good. At least reviews so far are saying it's good, which I trust, obviously. So obviously, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I don't really know what more. It's like I don't know what to say
reminds me of
about.
Spirited Away. It reminds me a lot of Spirited Away specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Which isn't bad.
similar energy. You're right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of different Ghibli movies have different and Miyazaki movies have very different vibes. And I think you're right. It's sort of the like there's something interesting and magical going on here, but it's not like Totoro where it's just like, haha, let's go play and have fun. It's like, oh, there's like something happening, you know? And that's kind of serious, but it's not intense like Mononoke. Right? So obviously I'm excited. It's funny because it's like I feel like I didn't have much to say about Aquaman 2, and at the same time I don't necessarily feel like I have much to say about The Boy and His Heron because I'm just like, okay, this is just gotta be a good movie, and we're just gotta wait for it to come out. Like, there's not much to say simply because it's like so obviously like Miyazaki style, just everything good about that. So I'm just like, what is there to say? It's just gonna be good, I'm sure. So
rumors are it's not his last movie.
I know. Dude, he's like freaking Sakurai for Smash. Every Smash is his last Smash until it's not. And he's already said that he's going to make another Smash game. And we're just like,
really?
Dude, you gotta
Which I'm so
rest.
curious about because I remember specifically him saying, this is getting derailed, but that if he does make another Smash Bros, it'll never have the roster that this one does.
Right, they'll have to
so
tone it down or
horrible
something.
licensing. And so it's like, well, if you make a Smash where the roster's toned down, is it going to be like as exciting?
I think it could be.
Or make it a different style game. That's a hot take, but make it a different style.
No,
game.
I think that is a good take.
No.
But you're right.
Like, no.
They probably would just do what they had been doing up until now. Cut a bunch of characters, have some new characters too. Definitely have keep the staples, keep the ones from 64, obviously, but like, they're not going to bring back Pikachu for a second game. Are you kidding me? Pichu's gone. No more Pichu. Pichu's a loser. Well, Pichu wasn't a loser at the beginning of the game. But
Banjo-Kazooie.
yeah. Like a lot of those characters, a lot of those DLC characters especially, I'm like, they're probably not going to bring all those back. And they're going to really tone it down, but they'll still bring some really cool and interesting characters. And knowing them, they're going to be like, well, we got to add some new fancy mechanic or something. Like, I don't know. They'll figure it out, obviously.
I feel like if maybe Sakurai tried to do his own take on like an actual like traditional fighting game, that would be legit to see. Or like maybe
that'd be crazy.
Or maybe like a 2-on-2 like tag style fighting game, or like a 3v3.
Oh,
like,
that'd be
Marvel
cool.
Kind of thing. That'd be sick.
Oh, but would it be child friendly enough? They could make it child friendly enough.
They could.
They could do it. Yep, they'll figure it out. That's our movie news. We don't have a lot of movie news right now.
We'll get into TV then. I've been watching a lot of TV, just keeping up on Ahsoka.
I'm not in a hurry still.
Oh, last episode, so good.
Good.
Left on a cliffhanger that I'm very excited about. But Shelley had a good point. I think it was a couple weeks ago you mentioned that they do really rely on just past knowledge.
Scrimble Bimbo! Yeah! Woo!
Not to give too much away, I think people kind of already know what's going on.
I've seen bits and pieces.
Trailers or not, but there was a lot of theory that this would happen. What happened this last episode? But it does heavily rely on like, oh, remember this character? You like this character? And like, oh, I do like that character.
You're like, yeah, you're right. You just need to remember.
I actually rewatched a few Rebels episodes because I forgot how far back I was, and then I was like, oh, okay, I've already seen these. So I just kind of like wasted the time on watching episodes I already watched. But
besides that, though,
I do want to get to it.
The show has also done something that none of the other movies or TV shows has ever done, and that is expand the universe.
Ooh, that's what I heard. I've heard of rumblings of what that might be.
Yeah, more than anything else, in a really, really big way, that hopefully they utilize, because I could see them making a whole universe and then not utilizing that, like,
for sure.
Yeah, that would be a bummer. So we'll see. They are, I don't want to give too much away, but they've expanded, and it's really, really cool if they play it out well. I feel like they don't look at the galaxy that they live in and really like flesh that out enough sometimes. I think there's a lot to be like delved into in the different planets that they have. I think you could have entire stories of planets that we haven't seen or heard much of.
There are many galaxies out there because it's about one that's far, far away. So,
yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anymore.
I don't even know,
really
but
I've already said too much. But I do think, as far as like any show that has Jedis in it, including Obi-Wan, this has definitely been the most interesting to me. They are doing, they're being a lot braver with this show than they have in other shows. I think, like, they usually play it pretty safe.
Cool.
They're not playing it super safe in this one.
I like to hear that.
Good.
Yeah. And it's working. I love when they do that. It's probably up there. There's only 4 episodes in, so I don't want to say it's up there with Andor yet. But
there's always room for things to go wrong.
Yep.
And I mean, it's super easy. Just have nothing happen for the next few episodes, and this is like any other show that happens. I feel like they do a lot of setup, and then they just kind of like hurry that setup and conclude it in really like unsatisfying ways in the last episode. Disney Plus specifically is really good at that, so hopefully that's not where they go with it.
Yep.
What have you been watching, Shelly?
I think I'm caught up on my Adventures of Superman, and I also don't remember if by last recording if I had finished Mob Psycho 100. If not, we finished Mob Psycho 100. I don't remember if we had talked about it or not.
Nice.
Top tier anime. Everyone go watch it, please. It's so good. It's a favorite. I now am conflicted because I'm like, Kaguya-sama Love is War was like so obviously my favorite anime, but now I'm like, Mob Psycho 100 is kind of feeling at the same level. I don't know if it's surpassing it, but it's at the same level. I think I could say they're both a favorite of mine. At least both my favorites. They're so good. So please watch it. My Adventures of Superman is also still good. Finally, things are like happening. The pacing is so quick in this show, but I think it's for the best. And finally, some interesting things are happening. And obviously, I'm not going to like spoil what. But it's like also cool because it makes me like, I don't actually know like Superman lore all that much. Like, obviously, I know he came from planet Krypton. I know Kryptonite's a thing. And that's kind of about it. So I'm curious to see, like, there's some parts about the lore that I'm interested in, and I don't know if it's like they're doing stuff that's loyal to the comics or if they're doing stuff that's original, because they kind of like to put their own spin on things. So it's, take villains that are well known and kind of put a spin on them, things like that. So it makes me wonder if they're going to be doing the same thing with just general Superman lore in general. So it's just good. It's so nice to just watch a show that continuously is still just good. And there's character, again, it's just nice to have a show that not just doesn't only just have character development, it has character development that lasts multiple episodes and like is remembered. So stuff happens in like this last episode where it's like, you're like, oh cool, we did learn our lesson from the last couple episodes. Cool.
I've
Let's
missed
freaking
the last
go.
few because my weekends have been like super busy, so it's like I forget that I'm like, oh, that's on, and so I just haven't been able to catch up on it.
Yeah, we didn't get to watch this until way later because of PAX and other things. Yeah. Like we were behind a little bit, and I think we're caught up now.
I've struggled in general to keep up with like TV for some reason. I guess because video games and Starfield, but.
Totally. I think this is the one single show I keep up on specifically because the episodes are so short and it's just weekly and it's just easy and it's easy to digest too. It's not like not to dig on Ahsoka or any Star Wars shows or like Marvel shows, but I feel like a lot of those shows you really kind of have to be like, oh, what happened last time? Oh, that's right. Okay, we gotta like brace ourselves. Something's gonna happen. Gonna be a big reveal. Like, it's just a different viewing experience, whereas My Adventures of Superman kind of just feels like cereal. Like, it's just sweet and it's good. It's awesome. So that's all it is. That's all I've watched, though. I've also kind of just stopped watching shows besides that because of gaming. Baldur's Gate 3 is just taking up all of our time. But yeah.
What about you? you, LJ? What have you been watching?
I've watched a few episodes of the One Piece show on Netflix.
Oh, that's out. Yeah.
And it's fun. It's really not bad. Like that's why the strike kind of sucks, is because one of my favorite TikTok creators, Straw Hat Goofy, his whole name is based off of this show because of how huge of a fan he is. And like, I want to hear people like him talk about it, but I can't. But like from what I have heard and from what people like him have been able to say, like, it sounds like people who are huge fans of the show have actually been enjoying it for what it is.
Good.
It's a very obviously it's a very streamlined take on everything. But
yeah, it has to be.
I think it's super fun. Like, the set design is really good. The characters are very surface level versions of themselves, but you can definitely see traits, of those characters, like, within the actual, like, the actors. Like, you could tell, like, everybody is doing their part, like, as far as, like, the roles go. It does have that cheesiness that you get from, like, an adaptation kind of like this. Like, I mean, if you've seen, like, something try to be like adapted from, like, an animated thing,
Totally.
there's definitely, like, the costumes and, like, the the wigs or whatever, just whatever they got to do. It seems like you are going to get that kind of cheesiness to it, and being that it's an anime, so they still do exaggerate some things a little bit. But the joke I've been hearing is like, oh, well, if they can make Luffy's stretchy powers look good, like, why couldn't Marvel do that with Miss Marvel or whatever? Like, why do they have to do what they do?
Oops.
Like,
yeah, good point.
But it's fun. Like, I think, honestly, it would be a good gateway drug, I guess, for lack of a better term, to, like, if you like this, if you casually like this, maybe you'd actually like the anime kind of a thing. Because I've heard of people, like, watching this and be like, oh, like, well, what's the actual anime like? And, as little as I've seen of the anime still and read some of the manga, like, I'm like, from what I've seen, this matches up in a way that I still enjoy, and in a way that I think is fun. So,
cool.
Yeah, I think it's worth a watch. Just to, if you haven't seen One Piece before, it might just be the thing that gets you to watch the actual anime. So,
nice. Yeah,
I want to hear what more people have to say about it, though.
I have a friend who's been watching it, and it's funny because she really doesn't watch much anime at all, but she's been watching the live action, and she's like, yeah, it's really good. And I'm just like, oh, cool. So that's good. It's good that it's good for both angles, right?
Yes.
From fans who like it and new people,
And it does feel like, some, like, I don't know, like, it does feel like I'm watching, like, Pirates of the Caribbean sometimes, just because some of, like, the...
Oh, and that's not a bad thing.
Some of the fun, like, just, how...
that's exciting.
Well, like, how some of the action scenes in that are even kind of fun and silly, like, they don't, like, that, that whole series doesn't really take itself that seriously either, almost to a fault, like... So I wonder if, like, maybe some notes were taken from that, just because it's like, oh, not only is One Piece silly in itself, but, like, it's just something, like, you have to go in knowing, like, oh, it's not trying to be serious, like...
Definitely.
I don't know, it feels like it's a fun watch.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We'll get into TV then. We got a couple trailers here. First is for Monarch, which is the Godzilla prequel thing about Monarch. And we had stills, I think, literally last week is what we talked about. But it is so good.
Looks really cool.
Yeah. I just realized in our notes it's the Aquaman trailer and not Monarch.
No.
I think I watched it from our chat notes, so that's a good catch. I think it's
Monarch Legacy of Monsters. It's kind of the like how Monarch came to be, and them trying to bring some good into the world. And yeah,
it's gonna expand. I think that new series, that whole new universe, in like a fun way. Like, I didn't need it to be like expanded upon, but I'm like, oh, okay, like this is gonna give it some depth. I guess that might be fun for it. Hopefully,
yeah. It has some kind of like, I don't want to call it political drama to it because it's about kaiju, but has that kind of that feel to it a little bit of them trying to build this thing to help protect the world, and like what does that mean for the world
characters
itself?
with different moral compasses vying for power, kind of a thing, like.
But yeah, I don't have Apple TV, but this is something that makes me kind of curious.
I haven't used my Apple TV account really much since Ted Lasso ended, so like I'm gonna go check this out for sure.
Is it Apple Plus, right?
Or yeah, Apple TV Plus. Yes, I guess because Apple
Right,
TV
yeah.
is
Apple
TV's a product, I guess.
The
like,
box.
Yeah, I was like,
So
oh, yeah,
confusing.
I bought my mom an Apple TV. I forgot.
In fact, at that point, name one Apple TV and the other like iTV or remember
Plus.
when they were always add I in front of
iWatch.
everything? But maybe let's go back
Yeah.
to that because this isn't helping.
Apple Plus or Apple Core. No, I'm just kidding.
Apple Core.
Apple Core would be so good.
That'd be way better.
Ooh, that needs to be the product name. Apple Core.
Ooh, yes.
You do everything at the core.
Yes.
Phone
Your
up
TV,
to it.
your laptop, your whatever, just everything.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's just a charger.
I'm gonna need to copyright that.
Apple Core will just be a charger for everything. But Apple, whatever it is, I guess Apple Plus is probably a little too on the nose.
I mean, it's Apple TV Plus, basically, is what it is. That it's
Yeah.
going to be on.
But this would. There's just so many of them. I don't
Mhm.
know. I gotta go in spurts, and like right now I have Max. I'm gonna watch everything I can on Max.
Ooh, and then the Continental's coming out at the end of the month on Peacock, which is the whole John Wick thing. Oh, yes.
Oh yeah,
There's so much.
you gotta get. You can get caught up on Twisted Metal.
Yes, I have finished Twisted Metal.
Is it over?
Yes, it's been over. Yep.
That's fast.
It's been over. I think there was like 8
Dang.
episodes or something.
And then we have Loki season 2, which, let's be honest, Loki is like one of those shows that if you have Disney Plus, you have it because of Loki.
Yeah.
First season was so good, and everyone loved it. So, second season looks good too. It just looks like more Loki, which I'm not totally against.
I feel like
It looks a little bit more goofy than the first season did.
Mm-hmm.
But we have the writers from Rick and Morty, right, behind this time.
Mm-hmm.
Or directors, maybe. I'm not sure. Definitely some creative minds behind Rick and Morty are doing this, so the goofiness kind of makes sense.
I'm like, I forget where we're at with the Marvel stuff right now, too. Like, I'm trying to even remember what was the last Marvel thing we had. Like,
Secret Invasion.
Oh, yeah, Secret Invasion, yeah. And then,
Forgettable.
Like, yeah. But then, like, the movie stuff, too, I'm like, we're supposed to be getting the Marvels, I guess, at some point. And then didn't we have, like, Ant-Man was the last one or something? Like, we're in a really weird spot with the Marvel stuff right now, I think. Even weirder than before, now that I think about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not just sticky, it's also not interesting. It's somehow both
Yeah.
complicated and boring. How'd they manage that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Marvel's in a real weird spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
But and that is all of the TV we have. So let's talk about PAX. Shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, yep,
Yeah.
I went to PAX West, not this last weekend, but the weekend before. And it was super duper fun. It's been a very long time since I've gone just for pleasure, basically, like not for work.
Yeah.
Because obviously when we went, it was always like media, but I didn't
Doing
really
stuff.
talk. Yeah, I wasn't really doing stuff. I wasn't doing anything PR. I was just kind of going, doing what I wanted. And I was with some friends who had never gone before, so that was really fun. Played a couple games, obviously. I already mentioned Rivals 2. That took up a pretty large part of our weekend. We played a lot of Rivals 2. My friend who's really good at Rivals did the dev challenge. You fight a dev. And he won, so that was cool. And they would give away like free stickers if you won, which was also really fun. Yeah, it's just cool. It's interesting because Rivals 2, I mean, obviously it's a sequel to Rivals of Aether, but it's they added shields, they added grabs, and they added ledge grabs, which
Oh, wow.
a lot of the draw / it's like the reason a lot of people went to Rivals of Aether in the first place was because they didn't have any of those features. But a lot of people also were scared to go to Rivals, myself included, because it didn't have those features. Like, those are such, like, smash staples, for example, having a grab, having a shield, having being able to grab the ledge. So it's kind of interesting having them add that back. Really makes it a different game. So it makes me wonder if everyone's going to be shifting over to Rivals 2, if there's still going to be people actively playing Rivals 1 because they want to do that instead. I don't know. I'm curious to see, but it was really fun to play. I also played a game called Giga Bash, which I'd never heard of before, but it's been out for a minute.
I've been wanting to play that. It's looked fun, but
it's
like
so silly. I have no idea if there's any, like, I'm sure there's like a meta. I'm sure there's a way to be like actually competitive in this game, but I could not figure it out. It was just fun to explode everything. So for those who don't know, it's basically like a kaiju simulator, but it's like a party game. So you choose a kaiju. So like, for example, I chose Godzilla. You could choose like Godzilla. There's other ones. One of my friends chose a building. You could just be a building, which is so funny. There's like a giant Yeti. There's a lot of really silly ones. They're all pretty fun. And there's a bunch of different things you can do. They basically plop you into the city, and you have like a quicker attack, a strong attack, pretty typical, right? You could throw buildings at each other. You could grab each other and throw each other around, and then when you have enough, I guess, hits or something, you have some meter that once it's high enough, then you can do a super attack, or you can grow even bigger, and you're just like destroying each other and the city at the same time. So it was definitely a fun time with all four of us playing.
Fun.
Very, very silly, but very fun, because kaijus in that context are very fun when you're the ones controlling it. It was kind of like I don't remember the name of that game, but another kaiju sim, but it's like that classic arcade game.
King of the Monsters.
Yeah, but like 3D basically.
Right. King of the Monsters was basically like a wrestling game, but like with monsters, like doing elbow drops and throwing them and pinning them.
Yeah, similar. So that was super cool and fun. We also played a game called Animal Well, which is from Donkey's production company. So he didn't make it, but he is helping produce the game, or publish the game. Actually, not produce, he's publishing it. So that's really cool. And it was really like super duper minimalistic. You only get to like move left and right and down potentially if you're like dropping through a platform, and you can jump, and that's about it. You can pick up some items, but you're roaming around this like kind of creepy pixelated space, beautiful pixelated space. And you're kind of just like roaming around trying to, I guess, get out. But it's like it's very intriguing atmosphere and like kind of spooky, but it's not like a scary game. It just like is atmospheric. Can't think of a better word than atmospheric. But it was really cool. And I just liked all of the graphics was like so pixelated, but so like gorgeous. And it seemed like fun. I liked how simple it was. It's just very simple controls. But they just drop you basically in the middle of nowhere and don't tell you what to do. And so you just have to figure it out on your own. So those are the games I played. I bought a lot of merch. I bought a lot of pins. I got a lot of stickers. We got a rival shirt.
That's cool.
Some pins. Oh, we also went to Nintendo Live. I totally forgot to mention. So Nintendo Live was also there. And we got to go to that. And that was mostly... So, yeah, I forgot to mention, I got to play Mario Wonder. That was probably the most important demo I played.
Cool.
Because that game obviously is, like, super not out yet, but it's also really big. So, it was really fun, actually. I'm not usually a fan of those types of Mario games. Like, it's just not really my thing. But it was fun to be able... We were, like, kind of speedrunning because we only have 15 minutes on the demo, and so we wanted to get as much of it done as possible. And it's funny because all of the Nintendo employees were there and like, you know, obviously like kind of like helping walk you through it and answering questions and saying, well, now you could try this. Well, if you try this, but we were just like trying everything. And so we would just like do it all before they would even mention. They're like, oh, you found this. Cool. Oh, you discovered you could do this. Great. And we're just like, we're professionals here.
Watching you play. Oh my gosh. It's so nerve wracking.
Yeah. So we were just like basically speed running, and it was really fun because you can go really fast in that game, and to the point where it's similar to, I believe, just Super Mario Brothers or like New Super Mario Brothers, where just those games where it's like multiplayer. If you're not going fast enough with the fastest person, you get turned into a little bubble, and they kind of just drag you over. So it was the same thing.
Games are a lot like that too. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was really funny. We're just like, awesome. Scott, slow down! Like we're going too fast! Like we're not playing the game. I got to play as Yoshi. And Yoshi's a little bit different in that everyone else can turn into elephants. Their elephant version. Yeah, you can ride on Yoshi, but Yoshi can't turn into an elephant Yoshi. So that's kind of a bummer, but it kind of makes sense. But the elephant, like Mario, Peach, etc., can still ride on Yoshi, which I think we did see in the trailer, but it was still very silly how they're just like, mush, and I'm just like running.
I love
Yeah,
that.
it was
There's
cool.
That meme where it's like, hear me out, and it has like that big
Hear
boss
me
from
out.
Elden Ring that's on the small horse. Like,
Yeah, basically. It had the same energy. Yeah, it was cool though. It looked great. Like, I know Switch games typically, they have to be really stylized in order for a game to look really good, and it did. It looked really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a good time. I don't necessarily know if I'll get it myself, but I'm hoping one of my friends will get it so we can play together because it was kind of fun multiplayer. Cool. So, yeah. Wonder was great. Live was also cool. Just a lot of photo ops. Got to take a picture with, like, Link, but Tears of the Kingdom Link with his hand out. Got to take a picture with Kirby's, different Kirby statues. Mm-hmm. Plus, there was a guy who was, like, in a Kirby suit. There was other people, like, dressed up as different, like, Mario characters you take a picture with. A lot of photo ops, like, everywhere. There was also a Zelda Orchestra was there performing.
Oh, nice.
And that was probably the coolest part, honestly, was just being able to listen to them. Live music, obviously, is just so good. And being able to listen to live Zelda music is even better. So they got to play, like, a medley. They played from a bunch of different games, and they had, like, a screen up top showing kind of what game it's from. That was really cool. I liked that a lot. There was just limited seating, and we didn't get to sit. We just had to stand there. But that was totally fine with me, because you could still listen. And, yeah, it was all really good. Definitely running around just buying a bunch of stuff. I got tea. There was a cool shop or a little pop-up that sold like coffee and tea, but it was like basically designed for like tabletop gaming, if that's possible. But I thought that was really neat. And there was like a whole tabletop section part of PAX too. So somehow didn't buy dice. I told myself I don't need more dice. So I didn't buy any cool artisan dice, but oh my gosh, there's so much cool artisan dice. You could buy like magic cards. I had a friend who bought.
I forgot to send y'all a picture of these metal dice that I bought. I'll send.
Heck yeah!
They're like
nice.
Super.
Whoa, that's cool. Like steampunky kind of. That's awesome.
I'll send y'all a picture, but anyway.
Yeah. So obviously, I could have really emptied my wallet, but I didn't. But I did buy stuff that I wanted. I got some art, and I always love art. So I got some really cool art prints and a lot. I just got like a lot of stickers and like some pins. I'm trying to think of anything more interesting I got besides like tea. It was so funny. There was a moment when we were talking about, we were about to leave, and so we were saying about some other friends who were going to be sticking around longer. And my friend who was like, "Hey, like if you guys have any extra stickers, give them to me. I'm going to put them on my CRC." And there's just this guy sitting nearby, and this is like the most PAX thing to ever PAX, right? This is just the experience when you're there. There's this guy sitting nearby. He says, "Hey, you said you want some stickers? You need more stickers?" And I'm just like, yeah. And he's like, "Oh, do you want some stickers?" Like I'm like the head of QA at Kerbal Space Program 2. And we're like, oh, so he gave us a bunch of stickers from the Kerbal Space Program 2 game that's not out yet. And so I just have stickers for that game, even though they didn't have like a booth or anything. So that's what's cool is that there's a bunch of devs there and a bunch of video game industry like employees and workers here at PAX, even if they don't have like
appointments for that game, even though they didn't have a booth or something.
Absolutely, I'm sure. So that I thought that was all really neat, and it was just like that was such a PAX experience where we're just talking, and you always get the experience where you're just like looking past and you're just like, oh, that's that famous YouTuber I watch, or that's that famous like reviewer. Oh, there's IGN. Like we just saw IGN recording at Nintendo Live, for example. Like we're interviewing people.
I got to be that person kind of at the con I went to. I recognized somebody from the community, or like they recognized me. And I'm like, that felt good. Like it felt extremely awesome.
Yeah. The one bummer is totally understandable. I wish LTN could have been there. I know they were at a different convention that weekend, but I was gonna go say hi to them, but they just went out there, and that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was really fun. And probably I'll try to go again next year, depending. It's half the fun, honestly, is going with friends and people, especially people who are out of town. So hopefully get to do that again next year. But yeah, it was really good.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We will end the podcast there then. Shelly, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
And LJ?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at LJ the Paladin.
You can always find me on Instagram at Cody Armor. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye!
Peace!
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.